When I ask product owners how they choose which products or which features their teams should focus on first, they rarely have a good technique for prioritization. The advance of technology and business needs have triggered user requirements to evolve almost every day. It is therefore impossible to fulfill the requirements at once. Agile have been introduced to mitigate such issues by implementing user requirements incrementally and iteratively by selecting a couple of requirements to be implemented in iterations, and this can be achieved by performing continuous requirements prioritization. As smart and efficient as companies might become, it is still not possible to do everything at once. And when it comes to deliver complicated customer requests, getting those requests delivered takes time. So when you have several requests to work on, and you can only take one at once, how do you prioritize what comes first? Well, you could prioritize based on what your customers want, what your internal stakeholders want, what you think will generate the biggest value, and the list goes on. But what about the cost? At the end of the day, you are in a business to make money, and that makes cost of delay the most important measure to your business. Cost of delay helps us understand and quantify the impact of time on the outcomes we hope to achieve. It offers a simple way to calculate how much the time it takes to develop a new feature, including any time spent waiting in a backlog, will end up costing your business. And it calculates this cost of delay by taking into account both value and urgency. To make decisions, we need to understand not just how valuable something is, but how urgent it is. For example, we have all experienced the cost of delay getting out of the house late to go to work. If you live in a big city with a huge traffic, a 15-minute delay getting out of the house could result in a 30-minute or over an hour nightmare delay. This could have huge implications, such as missing an important meeting or missing a flight. So you can clearly visualize the cost of delay here, right? Let's take this into an example. If I have 3 features to choose from, each with a different worth to the business, and each taking a different amount of time to implement, how do I make the best economic decision on what to finish first? How can we use the cost of delay in this case? First thing is to compare the features to each other. What we care about is the amount of time it will take to deliver each feature and the overall value of that feature afterward. The value of a feature can mean an amount saved or additional customer value received due to the feature being in production. That value continues to be delivered for each week after the feature is released. This number needs to take into account the business value, the time criticality, and the risk reduction and opportunity enablement. The reality is that in most cases, the cost of delay is more than just dollars. The cost is usually something more ambiguous, and it is not a good idea to spend too much time thinking about the exact value of each feature. Instead, we can use a simple comparative value, such as the Fibonacci sequence, to estimate. So let's come back to our example. We have 3 features, feature A, B, and C. In terms of value, by using the Fibonacci sequence and estimating these features relatively to each other, we can come up with a value for each one of them. So for this example, feature A has a value of 1, feature B a value of 3, and feature C a value of 5. Regarding the time it takes to deliver these features, we can assume that the feature A takes 5 weeks, B 2 weeks, and C 4 weeks. For the purpose of our example, I will be referring to our value as multiplied by $1 million to discuss a monetary value. In his book, Principles of Product Development Flow, Donald Weinerston explained that we should take into account the value delivered when we prioritize by calculating a weighted value, defined as the value of each feature divided by the time it will take to deliver that feature. Let's add this to our example too. Now that we gathered this data, let's look at 2 different scenarios. The first scenario is that we do not do any prioritization and we start by feature A, then B, then C. Feature A will take 5 weeks to be completed. Feature B will take 2 weeks, and by that time, the feature A is in production and will start generating 1 million per week. And then last, feature C will take 4 weeks. And by that time, feature B is in production too, and both A and B are generating a value of $16 million. When the 3 features are in production, we are generating a peak value of 9 million per week. After 12 weeks, all features have generated 27 million. But what about the 50 million that we did not generate? Let's look now at the second scenario, where we order these features based on the highest weighted value. In this scenario, we start with feature B that has the highest value rate. It will take 2 weeks and generate 3 million, then feature C in 4 weeks, and then last feature A in 5 weeks with a 1 million value. We can still see that we have some unrealized value worth 16 million. But of course, any kind of product development will require a starting investment before we can generate revenue. But look at the amount of value generated after 12 weeks, when all the features are in production. We managed to generate 61 million after these 12 weeks. So by simply prioritizing our features differently and sequencing our work accordingly, the economic effects are profound. By looking at these 2 diagrams, we can see that when we develop our features prioritized based on the cost of delay, we have a value efficiency of 3.8, comparing to the value efficiency of the first scenario, which is 0.5. This model enables us to determine which order to do the features to minimize the cost of delay. Cost of delay helps improve and simplify decision-making. It helps improve decision-making by prioritizing monetary value, which is critical to every business. Different stakeholders can argue when it comes to prioritizing based on any number or factor, but it is hard to argue against the cold hard fact of money earned or money saved. One thing to keep in mind while prioritizing different features or products is that the overall value is not just money. Of course, as companies, we are looking for the biggest return on investment. However, we also need to consider what will happen to the market share, customer loyalty, and brand integrity as you make trade-offs to meet or delay deadlines. For example, if you choose to delay a project and your biggest competitor releases their version of the product, what will that do to your market share? On the other side, what if you rush to market and deliver a low-quality product? How will that impact customer loyalty and overall sales? Keep all these factors in mind when trying to prioritize your backlog. I hope that this overview of the cost of delay was helpful, and that it gave you a clearer idea of how to prioritize your product backlog using the cost of delay. Please leave us a comment with the topic you want us to discuss next, and follow us to receive our next updates. Thank you.